Raw took place tonight in Louisville, Kentucky. To start off, we had a graphic for Sabu, which I appreciated. Rest in peace, Sabu. And then we had CM Punk come out, and he once again did a tribute to Sabu by pointing his finger up in the air on the apron. When he gets in the ring, he cuts a promo on Heyman. He brings up Heyman turning on him at Money in the Bank in 2013. Heyman comes out. Then Seth and Braun follow. Seth's promo I thought sucked. It was so boring. I just don't like Seth. I think he's hurting this gimmick. I don't think this faction's going to work. It's supposed to be the bloodline, but he's not Roman Reigns. I'm not enjoying his character. So, the two of them beat down Punk. Jay makes the save. Then Sammy comes out. They get them to retreat. So, clearly we have three guys on one side. Sammy, Punk, and Jey Uso. And there needs to be a third man on the other side, and that doesn't include Paul Heyman, because he only got Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. So I'm guessing Logan Paul would make sense for right now. You could go Drew McIntyre. We'll see. We had Penta and Chad Gable. So before the match, Pat McAfee makes his triumphant return. People cheered for him. Then this match was good, but it was nowhere near as good as the match they had on January when Penta debuted. But still good. Penta won with the Mexican Destroyer. We get a video promo from Roxanne Perez and Julia. It was not much here. It was just saying, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over. We've heard that line a million times since Conor McGregor first said it. That's basically what they were saying. Judgment Day's backstage. You had Raquel Rodriguez holding one belt. So they're kind of playing up that Liv's not there. And they did mention Liv when Dom says she said good morning, but he didn't understand the time zone differences because she's in Japan right now. Dom was talking to Finn about what happened at Backlash. Finn explains himself to him, and he's saying he's going to take care of AJ tonight, which he obviously did not. I'm just waiting for them to do the turn already because Triple H does this a lot, and Vince McMahon was a lot worse, but Triple H is just dragging this out for too long. I kind of want to get this over with. I really don't care that much about this angle. It goes on forever on TV, and I feel like they're almost missing the mark. I just kind of want them to just do the turn and get it over with. I mean, I guess with Edge, when they first turned on him to Judgment Day, it was kind of really too soon in a way, but now it just feels like we're waiting forever for this turn. And I mean, they teased it forever with Finn and Damian, and then they finally did it at SummerSlam. I'm kind of waiting for... it's going to probably be Dom this time turning on Finn. Pat got a standing ovation from the crowd for his performance against Gunther at Backlash. Everyone's cheering for him. He stands on the announce booth. It's cool and all. It's just... I mean, does this really do a lot for Gunther? I don't know. Pat's not going to be wrestling anyway, so... And in a couple months, or where are we in May? Probably in a few months... he's going to be gone because there's the college football season. So I just don't really see a big thing with Pat. The big reason to push him so hard and to give him all the screen time because it doesn't do much for Gunther, and Pat's gone soon. And he'll be back, but it is what it is. I just don't really think it advances anything. He had New Day out. I mean, you can't change the channel because it's Netflix, and you can't just go back and forth now, because you have to log in and out. But when they're on, man, it makes you really miss those old days on cable when you can just change the channel. Punk and Sammy are backstage in the locker room. They're teasing some tension between the two of them, but they have to put their differences aside as they're now officially going to team up on Saturday night's main event to take on Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. You had New Day on commentary for American Made taking on the War Raiders. New Day costs American Made in the match, and I'm thinking, why? Why are they so afraid of them? They beat them at WrestleMania. They cheated there. They can just cheat again. I'm thinking, I really don't care about this feud. I'm not into it at all. I just want it to end, but American Made gets the win, and it's something I'm just not into. Seth Rollins was in his locker room with Braun Breaker, and I just felt you had Heyman in the background, and you had each of them sitting on a sofa. It was so obvious they're desperately trying to recreate the bloodline, and it is not working. It's just too obvious now. And Heyman, it's not the same. It just doesn't work. You can't strike lightning in a bottle twice, even if you have a separate manager, even if you have some of the same people involved, even if they try to do the Bloodline again. And we kind of saw that last year with the new Bloodline really falling apart. It's not working. They are trying too hard to create a Bloodline. And it feels like Triple H knows the Bloodline was really the catalyst for WWE's recent boom period in terms of business. And I think he's desperately trying to recreate it. And Seth Rollins is the problem, in my opinion. He is not Roman Reigns. He doesn't have the star presence. He doesn't have the look. His voice is annoying. It's raspy. There's something about it that it's almost like it almost takes you out of it. He doesn't have the same level of presence with his voice. It's this whiny, squealy voice, and he's not Roman Reigns. It's not working for me right now. You had Adam Pearce talking to Jey Uso backstage. Then you had, on the break, Kathy Kelly talking to A-Town Down Under in front of the crowd, and Kathy talks about the elephant in the room, and I think Grayson Waller insults Kathy Kelly's mother, calling her an elephant or something. Kathy doesn't really have much to do. She talked recently about wanting to be like a manager. I hope she doesn't go the Samantha Irvin route and leave. I know her and Samantha are like really good friends. I hope we don't see that, but they really don't do much with Kathy. They really feature Jackie more, it seems like, as of recently. They show Logan Paul attacking Jey Uso last week, and they're going to have a match at Saturday night's main event. Jey Uso heads to the ring. I personally didn't give a shit. He did the yeet twice. Louisville loved the yeets. I did not care. I almost just turned down the volume on my phone, just waiting for this to end. Jey just has go away heat with me. I don't give a shit how much people love him. I'm not going to deny, yeah, he moves numbers. He sells a lot of merchandise. He gets a big reaction from the crowd. He's over. It sucks. He's a horrible worker. He's the worst promo in the company, in my opinion. And he has the worst spear of all time. But people like him. They like doing the yeet. It is what it is. But Gunther came out and I immediately rolled my eyes because I thought, oh, this is not going to end well for Gunther. He's going to lose again. And Gunther wants another shot at him. He's going to face the winner of Gunther and Logan Paul. And I just thought, wow, Jay's the worst promo. I just hate that. Yeet. I hate when he does it at the end. He sucks. But we're getting this match again, and I think Gunther's going to lose. I just hope Goldberg costs him the match, and Jey wins like that, because there's no way Gunther's getting this belt back this quickly. Seth Rollins, in my opinion, is going to be the one to dethrone Jey Uso. We get an Io Sky video promo for the main event match, in which she's teaming with Rhea Ripley to take on Roxanne Perez and Julia. The announcers talked over a tribute slideshow for Sabu, which I liked. It was quick. They didn't do one of those high-level WWE productions that they sometimes do for deceased wrestlers. But here they just had the announcers talk over it, and they showed some highlights from his ECW and WWE run. And the fans chanted, "Thank you, Sabu," which was nice. I was kind of hoping we would get some loud EC dub chants, but it's too bad they weren't in the Northeast, because that would have been perfect for there, but we didn't get that. But I'm glad they mentioned him. I appreciate it. And once again, if you didn't hear my tribute to Sabu, you can go back and watch that video. And at the end of it, I'll just repeat it again. I paid tribute to the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying maniac Sabu. Go watch that if you haven't seen it already. Jackie Redmond interviewed Ludwig Kaiser, and the camera immediately panned to Braun Breaker. No one cares about Ludwig. After he was walking away after beating the shit out of Jey Uso backstage, Sammy and Punk check on him. I personally didn't care. Finn Balor and AJ, have to say, they had a really good matchup here. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Very good matchup here. They went back and forth. Not one of their classics. They had a match, I think, in 2017 that's way better than this. But, I mean, they're a lot older now, and I still thought they had a good match. Judgment Day was interfering, and it looked like they were going to cost AJ the match, but then Penta came in, and he took out everyone. He hit a Mexican Destroyer, I believe, on, might have been Carlito, and JD was taken out as well. And then AJ Styles hit the Phenomenal Forearm on Finn Balor to get the win. We see Becky Lynch walking to the ring, and she's out. She's first cutting a promo on Lyra, but then she really goes after the fans, and In particular, she's upset with people on social media. She never mentioned this, but she did say it on the Raw Talk last week. The Becky Hogan thing, she's upset about being called that because she's not putting people over, but she did put Lyra over at Backlash, and that wasn't the first time she's put Lyra over. She put her over at NXT as well a year and a half ago. I think with Becky, the issue is, it's not like she's a woman, people don't want to see older women because, they're willing to put up with older men. I think with Becky, it's just she comes back right away at WrestleMania and takes Bayley's spot and wins the tag titles and pins Liv Morgan, who was voted the female star of the year last year for the Slammies, and she was excellent, and she immediately just goes over her, wins the tag belts, takes Bayley's spot. I think that rubbed people the wrong way. Also the fact that she's immediately positioned at the top. And I think it was a lot of the same things towards Charlotte. People didn't turn on her as much as they turned on Charlotte. Charlotte still has a lot more negative energy towards her from the fans than Becky, but it is similar in a way. I don't think it has a lot to do with age, but I think it's just they come back and immediately they're positioned to the top, and people are more invested in some of the current women. I think that's where some of the resentment comes from. But fans are doing the what chant. Becky's trying really hard here. It feels like she's trying too hard, and I just thought it was okay. She's healing up on the crowd. Some of it feels like it's genuine. And there was a thing last week when she was ripping into everyone on the Raw Talk. She went after Bayley, and she mentioned how Bayley would have to pay $100 to text her friend again, and that's a reference to Sasha Banks, who currently Mercedes, and she's charging fans $100 to text her. I thought that was actually a really funny touch by Becky. But that was just on Raw Talk. Not many people see it, except for people just on social media. But I think there is some frustration right now. But fans are doing the what chant to her. We didn't see Lyra this week. That was weird. And people are being rude to her boyfriend on social media. That was weird. He wasn't dressed, it's a wrestling show how you're supposed to dress, but he kind of was dressed in a tracksuit or something. People are making fun of him. I thought that was a little rude to Lyra, but we didn't see her this week. We saw Rusev video promo. He's definitely a heel. It was not much. It was very similar to the one he did a couple weeks ago when he was upset about how he was being treated, and he mentions the Abyss once again. So what is the Abyss? Also, worth noting, it looks like Evolution 2 this isn't confirmed, but it's rumored it's going to take place the night after Saturday Night's main event in July, so probably July 13th on Sunday. I don't mind. I just feel like it's a little bit too close to SummerSlam for me. And, there's going to be some big women's matches for SummerSlam, so it's going to be interesting how they book it. He had Maxine Dupree and Natalya are in Adam Pearce's office with Akira Tozawa, who wants Rusev. We didn't see Otis tonight, but Pierce is telling him no. And then Sheamus comes in. He gives Tozawa props, and he talks to Pierce, and he wants to match Grayson Waller. And that was already set up earlier when Austin Theory told Grayson Waller that he's going to face Sheamus next week. But I guess this is the American crowd. They don't see the stuff that the international people see, so they're telling us twice for us international folk. Then they preview next week's show. Then we get the main event up next. Julia and Roxanne Perez against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I thought it was okay. Not one of the best women's matches I've seen in a while. I've seen a lot better than this on TV recently. I thought the match last week with Io and Roxanne was a lot better than this. But it was all right. They keep referring to Julia and Roxanne as NXT stars, and I'm confused because they really shouldn't be NXT stars. I think Julia probably should still be in NXT. Not necessarily that she can't compete on the main roster. She's better than most of the women. But I just feel like she has unfinished business with Stephanie Vaquer, and I want to see them have the long-term feud when they trade over the belts. And I hope we get to see it in NXT because there's no guarantees we'll see it on the main roster. A lot changes. There's a lot more women to work with. We might not get that feud on the main roster. I want it in NXT. And I hope we do get to see it. But Julia here, she took the pin from Rhea Ripley. Rhea pinned her, and I just think Roxanne has to be on the main roster. They can't keep referring them to NXT stars. Roxanne doesn't need to be in NXT anymore. Julia should be, I think she'll be on the main roster sooner probably than Stephanie Vaquer, but I think she should probably still have a long feud with her in NXT. And speaking of the faces who won, Rhea and Io, they held the belt up at the end. They're holding up each other's hand, and Io's champion, and had Rhea look at the belt. So clearly we're getting that match. It'll be interesting to see who gets cheered, because I think Rhea is still more over than Io is. But we're clearly heading in that direction. Maybe at SummerSlam, maybe earlier, maybe at Evolution. We'll see what they go there. But that's all Raw ended. Also, Io and Rhea, I guess they were a team that had... not Io and Rhea. Rhea and Roxanne, I meant to say. They were dressed the exact same, both in all black, both in fishnets, both have like really dark hair. So it was almost like Rhea looked like a miniature, Roxanne looked like a miniature version of Rhea. And Michael Cole got their names confused a couple times because of that. But anyway, that was Raw. Louisville isn't necessarily the biggest market, and it kind of felt like that with WWE's performance tonight. It just felt like more of a filler show, and I guess it makes sense because it's Netflix. If you've ever been watching a Netflix TV show, there's going to be, or a Netflix show, there's going to be some filler episodes that you're just going to have to get through, and it's kind of that's how I felt about this show tonight. Felt like a filler. You know, you have 52 weeks a year. There's just going to be some are not as exciting, and we're in the summer now, and we're really past WrestleMania now. The aftermath of WrestleMania is over since Backlash has now taken place. Still have some while to go before Money in the Bank, so this is really the lull season, and wrestling in the summer is almost never that good. So that's what we're getting right now. We'll see what happens next week, but and we'll see what happens in WWE in this week too, because we still have NXT and SmackDown. But Raw tonight, I just felt like it was more of a filler show. Not bad. It was just there. As I said, it's like a kind of episode you'd watch that's just there to continue the story, build stuff up, but nothing particularly interesting happens, and that's how I felt about Raw tonight.